ever walk into a meeting and just feel it?
Feel what?
That tension.
Oh, yeah.
Like you know there's going to be a disagreement.
Yeah.
And not just like we disagree on where to get lunch kind of disagreement, but like a real high-stakes disagreement.
Yeah.
One of those.
One where your job might be on the line.
Exactly. Yeah. Like could impact your career type of standoff. Well, today's deep dive is all about giving you the tools to handle those situations.
That's right.
And not just gracefully, but strategically.
For sure.
So we're dissecting a lesson today.
Okay.
All about diplomatic language for workplace disagreements.
It's a good one.
It really is.
It's a useful one.
Oh, incredibly useful.
Yeah.
Like I said, high stakes, disagreements. You got to know how to handle yourself.
For sure.
So I'm looking at this lesson, and I'm already seeing words like politeness, tact, diplomacy.
Yeah, those are
those are the building blocks.
Big ones.
The foundation.
Yeah, the foundation of not making enemies at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I kind of want to go beyond the obvious here.
Okay, yeah.
What's the real power?
Ooh, that's a good question.
In mastering this kind of language, what does it actually get you?
Well, you got to think about like the psychology behind communication. Yeah. So politeness, it's not just about being polite or having good manners.
Right. It's not just like your mother taught you to say please and thank you.
Exactly. It's deeper than that. It's about creating like a foundation of respect.
Oh, interesting.
And when people feel respected, then they're more open to hewing your side of things.
Oh, that's a good point. Even if
they don't agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So that's what it gets you.
Huh. I like that. So this lesson also goes into like the useful grammar for these situations. And honestly,
not usually the most exciting topic.
No, I don't usually get excited about grammar.
Yeah.
But I will say, in this context,
that could be pretty important. It's actually really interesting. So they give this example phrase.
Okay.
I see your point, but I wonder if there's another way to approach this.
Oh, that's a good one.
What are they doing there?
I think that's a really good example of what we call hedging.
Hedging, okay.
Yeah. And hedging is kind of like...
So what is that?
It's like softening the blow.
Uh-huh.
So you're disagreeing.
Right.
But you're doing it in a way that...
That doesn't feel like an attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you're acknowledging their point of view.
Right.
But you're also kind of subtly shifting the conversation from like confrontation to collaboration.
Interesting.
So it becomes less about like me versus you.
Right.
It's more about like us finding a better solution together.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
So it's very strategic.
Exactly.
It's like
subtle.
It's like a verbal martial art.
That's a good way to put it.
Where you're kind of like deflecting blows while subtly steering things in your direction. I like it.
It's very strategic.
Okay, so hedging. So like I said, they get into grammar.
Right.
And another thing they talk about is using the passive voice.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Which, I think a lot of times people think passive voice.
It's bad writing.
Yeah,
right.
It's weak writing. But actually...
in this case, it can be really helpful.
It can be really useful.
Yeah.
So how would we use that in this kind of situation?
So, for example, instead of saying, you made a mistake.
Right.
Which can feel very accusatory.
Right, which is going to put somebody on the defensive.
Exactly. So instead of saying that, you could say something like, there seems to be an error in the report.
Okay.
And so it takes the focus off of the individual. Like, it's not about blaming anyone.
It's just about fixing the problem.
Exactly. So you're putting it on the issue itself.
That's really smart. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So you're not attacking the person.
Yeah.
You're addressing the problem.
Exactly.
I like it. And this lesson also gives all these phrases, like a whole bunch of phrases, for diplomatic disagreements. So these are like ready-made scripts.
I love that.
For these situations.
Yeah, they're super useful.
Like you said, these are high-stakes situations. You might freeze up. You might not know what to say.
You need to have those tools.
So these are the tools.
Yeah.
So things like, I understand your perspective, however, or let's try to find a middle ground.
Those are great.
So what do all those phrases have in common?
Well, if you think about it, they all kind of follow this similar pattern.
Good.
First, you're acknowledging the other person's viewpoint.
Right.
So you're validating their perspective, and then you're suggesting alternatives.
Okay.
Without outright rejecting their idea.
Right.
And then you're focusing on finding a collaborative solution.
So you're not saying no.
Right.
You're saying yes and.
Yes.
Or yes but.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. So you're striking that balance.
You've got to find that balance.
Between asserting your own position while respecting the other person's.
That's the key.
That's the tightrope walk.
It really is. It's a tightrope walk.
And I'm feeling like I need more practice.
Yes.
Just hearing about these things.
For sure.
So luckily, this lesson also gives some great ideas for how to practice.
Like what?
So they recommend role-playing.
Oh, that's a fun one.
And listening exercises.
Ooh, that's good.
So let's talk about that. What's the value in that?
Well, because it's one thing to read about all of this stuff.
Right.
But if you really want to learn it, you've got to actually internalize it.
Oh, interesting.
You got to practice it. So role-playing, it lets you test out these phrases in a safe environment.
So it's like training.
It's like training.
In a low-stakes situation.
Exactly. Okay. So that when you're in the high-stakes situation,
you're ready.
You're ready. You know what to do.
I like it.
And then the listening exercises are super important.
Like what kind of listening exercises are we talking about?
So things like active listening, like paraphrasing
of
what the other person is saying to make sure you understand it.
So you're showing that you're listening.
Exactly. Okay. And that you're trying to understand their perspective, which is so important for building that rapport and finding that common ground.
Makes sense. Okay.
It's all connected.
So it sounds like we've got kind of a three-pronged approach here.
Yeah.
For mastering this art of disagreement.
Love that.
We've got the power of specific vocabulary and the grammar.
Yeah.
We've got the underlying principles of diplomacy.
Right.
Like, why are we doing these things?
Oh, exactly.
And then we've got to actually practice these skills.
But I can't just read about it.
You can't just talk about it.
You got to do it.
You've got to actually do it.
Yes.
I love it.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn anything. So much good stuff here.
I know, it's a lot.
Really useful.
Yeah.
But I always like to end with something that people can kind of take away and think about.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I love leaving people with something to ponder.
Yeah. So what would you say is kind of the, like, one thing that people should take away from all of this and really think about, like, after the show is over?
Okay, so here's what I would say. Pay attention to how people use language in real-world disagreements.
Okay.
So not just at work,
right,
but in the news, in those, like, heated family discussions.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, really think about
why is it? What are they doing?
What strategies are working? What's backfiring? And why?
Yeah.
Why is it working? Why is it not working?
And then use that.
Exactly.
Learn.
And then you can refine your own skills.
I love it.
Yeah.
So much food for thought here.
Yeah.
This has been fantastic.
It has.
So I encourage everyone, go forth and diplomatically disagree.
Do it.
You got this.
Yeah, you got this.
All right, that's it for today.
Awesome. See ya.